Back on Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery here on Locked On Sports Atlanta, reminding you head over to youtube.com. Subscribe to our page there. Put that in your search browser, Locked On Sports Atlanta. When you find us, subscribe and leave us a comment. We are free and available on all of your favorite podcast platforms. You can download us on Spotify, Odyssey, all your favorites. Leave us a 5-star review. And, of course, follow me on my personal Twitter page at JMCH316. So we've been going through Pro Football Focus's different unit rankings and looking at where the Falcons are ranked at coming into this season. Today we look at the defensive line. So the elite group, well, we know the Falcons aren't there, but the Rams, Commanders, Packers, Steelers, Buccaneers, and 49ers all are in the elite group. Well, I hate to tell you, by the way, we play the Rams, Commanders, the Steelers, and twice with the Buccaneers. So of the top 6 teams, we'll play them 5 times over the course of the year. So Tier 2, strong with a weak point or two. Chargers, Saints, we play them. Eagles, Titans, Colts, Vikings. All right, not there, obviously. How about solid all-around defensive fronts? Tier 3. Buffalo, Cincinnati, Miami, the Jets, Broncos. Okay, we're not there. How about a great edge duo with a weak interior? Are we there? That's Tier 4. Raiders, Browns, Cowboys. All right. Relying on younger players to make a leap. Giants, Patriots, Panthers, Chiefs, Lions. Okay, we're not there. How about Tier 6? Finally, question marks at multiple positions. Starting at number 27 with Arizona, Jacksonville, Seattle, Houston, Chicago. Oh, coming in at number 32, dead last in Pro Football Focus's defensive line rankings are the Atlanta Falcons. Quote, the Falcons had the unenviable distinction of having the only defensive line in the league to grade below 50 as a unit in 2022. By the way, they were a 48.4 grade last year. Atlanta took some steps to make things better this offseason by bringing in Lorenzo Carter, Arnold Ebiketie, but relying on a second-round rookie and a fifth-year edge rusher who's never earned a Pro Football Focus pass grade above 62 as the top options still isn't a spot you want to be in as a defense. They'll be leaning heavily on Grady Jarrett to keep this from being one of the worst units in the league again next season. Now, I talked about yesterday or last week or whatever it was at this point, I get all my days mixed up about the offensive line has to make the biggest jump, year over year. They have to make a big jump forward. But part of that is just they have talent on the offense line. Jake Matthews is a competent guard. Chris Lindstrom's an outstanding, or competent tackle, Chris Lindstrom's an outstanding guard. They have guys you can build around. And if they can find a mix and match and get a little bit better, they don't have to be elite, but they've got to be better. They have to be better to be able to dictate what our offense wants to be. But why did I not say the defensive line has? Because the defensive line has been so bad that they can't go anywhere but up. There's literally nowhere to go in being worse, and it's not possible to be worse. So the Falcons are going to be better. I mean, last year when you're running out Steven Means, who played and started in 14 games, and he ended up with the same amount of sacks that yours truly, Joe Bag of Donuts, Mama Luke John, sitting here in Roswell on a podcast, on a camera. I had no sacks last year. So I tied with him, and I didn't play it down. So they have no room to go but upward. It would be impossible to think that Lorenzo Carter would go an entire season and have no sacks. It would be impossible for me to believe that Arnold Ebiketie could be less productive in his rookie year than Dante Fowler was last year. So I expect them to go forward. Now, as I've said many times, I don't know that we have our defensive line fixed, but I know we're better. I know we have more talent, and I know we have guys that I can count on. Look, the question is still, who's going to partner up with Grady Jarrett on the interior of the defensive line? Marlon Davidson and some of these guys, okay. I mean, Taquan Graham, I don't know what to expect out of any of those guys. But I know I have one guy. Now, look, defensive line, by the way, is a position that you move guys all around in, right? You don't just offensive line, it's 5 guys every play. You don't sub guys in and out. Barring injury or massive fatigue, you don't rotate guys in and out of your offensive line. You want the same 5 guys there all the time. Defensive line, you're moving guys in and out. And I think with Malone and Ebiketie and Lorenzo Carter and Michael Walker and this guy and that guy, I'm not telling you again that they have this thing solved. They still need another good draft of defensive ends. And maybe one of these days we'll go out and spend money and not spend money, but we'll spend high draft capital on a big time pass rusher because all the best pass rush, I mean, the tops, we explained this a couple of months back. The top 6 contracts for defensive players in the NFL are all first round pass rushers. It's Bosa, Mack, Garrett, TJ Watt, all the top 6 contracts for defensive players in total value are all first round sack guys. So you have to spend some draft capital there. But I don't think the Falcons, even if they tried, they couldn't be as bad. And I've said, I think Ebiketie can come in and challenge for the rookie record. Even if Lorenzo Carter can pick you up 4, 5, 6 sacks, that's 4, 5, 6 sacks more than what Steven Means gave you. And then mix in Michael Walker or this guy or that guy or whatever. D'Angelo Malone picks up 3 to 5 sacks or what have you out there. They at least went in and added some talent, and they at least spent some draft capital, and they brought in a couple of guys that they're going to give a chance to compete. So do I expect the Falcons defensive line to be better? Yeah. I mean, they can't be worse, right? I mean, it's the Jalen Mayfield concept, who, by the way, was beat up with questions yesterday. Jalen Mayfield was definitely, had the bullseye on him about why his rookie year was so bad. But again, when you're the worst at what you do, you have nowhere to go but up, right? So the Falcons are far and away the least productive defensive line in the NFL, not just Pro Football Focus grade. They were 11 sacks less than anybody else in the NFL. So I expect them to get better. Are they going to be great? Are they going to be one of the top? No. Can they be in the mid to late 20s? I hope. If you told me the Falcons were the 25th best defensive line in the league, okay, that means they probably had about a dozen more sacks and could stop the run a little bit. They could at least have a couple of guys who emerge off of something like that. So while I do believe that the offensive line has to have the biggest leap because that's what's going to get your offensive identity on track, there's nowhere to go but up for the defensive line. And I'm excited to see what the young guys do. This is a chance for the young guys to say, hey, guys, go out there, win this job, and go out there and make a name for yourself. D'Angelo Malone, you want a bunch of playing time? Show us that you should be on this defensive line going after the quarterback. Pin your ears back and go make some plays, and you'll find plenty of spots. So I'm not surprised where the Falcons ended up, in the defensive line rankings, but I can promise you it can't get worse. And I truly believe that. I promise you that it can't get worse if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan at looking on our defensive line. Again, if you have 2 guys that have at least a couple of sacks, that's more than we even got out of 2 total guys at times last year. All right, well, thank you so much for being a part of Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery. Thanks for making us your first listen. Don't forget, make your second listen, ATL Day Ones with my friends Jarvis Davis, Tanitra Batiste. They speak to the heart of the city of Atlanta, talking all things Atlanta sports and beyond with you. They are free and available on both our YouTube page and available on all of your favorite podcast platforms. Download that today. Leave us a comment. Leave us a 5-star review. Follow me on my personal Twitter page at JMCH316. We will be back with you tomorrow. This has been Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery on Locked On Sports Atlanta.